a break, even when we go on commercial break, the conversation was still going on. So get this, how easy is it for you to do business? In fact, that's what we want to know from you this morning. How easy is it for you to do business? According to the World Bank, Kenya is ranked in terms of economy 61 out of 190 economies in terms of doing business. And what do we mean when we say the ease of doing business? Well, it's simply based on the implementation of how simple it is here in Kenya to simply start a simple business. Samuel, I'll start with you on this specific one. How easy is it to start a business in Kenya? I know that's a bit more, that's a very general question, but I'm thinking in terms of permits, regulations, getting those documents that you need, whether you're in transport or whether you are a DJ. My point is, how easy is it to start a business in Kenya?
Thank you. And I think the reason why Kenya is ranked 61 and it has improved is because it's giving some incentives to foreigners, and they don't give the same incentives to the local people.
So this 61 is to foreigners? To
foreigners. Because I can tell you there's a desk at the Ministry of Trade whereby the foreigners come and they get some very good incentives. But me pushing for the same is a hard task. So me as a Kenyan, ideally you're supposed to start with me as a government.
Right.
Because I pay taxes and I am committed, I'm patriotic, I'm here by birth. I'm a citizen by birth. And I think Rwanda is ranked 29. And I've been to Rwanda several times. And one of the things that Rwanda has done, it has been able to help its own people. They have their own fund, whereby, for example, if you're a small medium entrepreneur, once you go there and you place your business papers there, they are able even to walk you through, even to start that business. For you to open an account in Rwanda, it takes you 45 minutes. It takes you 6 hours to get a certificate.
Wow.
Here in Kenya, if you want to open an account, my friend, it's going to take you like 1 month, 2 months, and there are so many brokers in between. You even don't know whether you are charged 10,500 or whether it's 25,000 or whether it's 40,000. There is no clear payment that you're supposed to pay. And ideally, the government has the responsibility of disseminating information to the traders and telling them exactly what is their stand. They're not supposed to pass that baton to other people who are in between, because brokers are going to make money in between at the expense of the traders. And I think because small medium entrepreneurs, and I would say this without fear of contradiction, they are the backbone of this economy. The moment you kill that sector, the economy goes on its knees. And that is why it's very important right now to make sure that the small medium entrepreneurs get the same incentives. For example, give me land if I want to transit from importation to local manufacturing. But how are you making my work easier? You see, when it comes to taxation, when it comes to cost of electricity, when it comes even to payment of taxes, many business people don't even know. And I remember we had a conversation here in terms of simplifying that. And one of the things that we are doing with KRA, because we approached them and gave them a proposal, is can you be able to disseminate information through our association? Disseminate that information to consumable pallets where people can be able to consume information. How am I supposed to pay taxes? Because it's a hard task to pay taxes. How many people have emails to put on the iTax returns? Mama Mboga, she can pay. She's supposed to be in the taxation bracket because she's making over 30,000 shillings. How can you be able to bring all these people to become responsible citizens? Because only 2.4 million Kenyans pay taxes. Only 310,000 companies pay taxes, and they have to foot a bill of 3 trillion shillings. When you look at that, they have to be squeezed more by the government to pay more taxes. And I think the most important thing is to widen the bracket of payment of taxes and reduce on what is being paid. And the government can be able to achieve that through now bringing in stakeholders, small, medium entrepreneurs, associations like Wambu's Association and the rest. Sit down, we tell them the proposals so that the piki boda guy is making 150,000 shillings. The sweet vendor is making 2,000. We are telling you statistics that we know because we are their representatives. They're making 2,000 shillings. Why should they enjoy some of these services without payment of taxes? Why should they enjoy our roads? Why should they enjoy electricity? Why should they enjoy hospitals?
So the main concern is how do they pay that tax?
How do they? But the government has not put in place systems and structures which are friendly enough, even as an incentive for us to pay taxes.
Okay. And Wamboi, what is your view on this? Because we've improved from 80 to 61. Are you feeling the improvement from your people's perspective?
You know, you can ease the process of doing business. But in the process, have you improved on the cost of doing business? So we've put a lot of effort over the last 4 or 5 years to improve our rating. in terms of I can walk into Kenya, I can register a company. We've moved it down from, I remember at some point the previous industrialization CS saying you can now do it in 3 days. Perhaps. It's yet to be proven. And the numbers indicate we have moved. However, it has not eased the process of doing business, because what it has done in some cases is actually increase the cost of doing business. And for me, maybe we should be working towards a rating for the cost of doing business. If we minimize that cost, is what Karanja's people will then actually regenerate the economy, because that's where the money is circulating at. So yes, we've improved in terms of we can draw a trail, we can track the processes that require me to set up a business. But we have not done anything towards reducing the cost, and the cost is what would actually put many people into doing business.
Jacoy, what do you think? Because we know that businesses, all of them come tumbling down in the first 3 years of establishment. Did we put our priorities in the wrong place, and then that we're just getting a ranking that is good, but it's just good on paper because you can register a company? But can you run that company?
Oh, good for
That's
foreigners.
a different question,
According to some.
Ease of business goes with the thinking of the government. Here, 3 hours away from us is Accra. The president there unilaterally says abolish VAT on everything. And Ghana today is one of the fastest, actually the fastest growing economy in the world. Zambia has copied the same thing. It's in the charts. Tanzania is getting rid of tariffs. Go, for example, I once told the governor of Kisumu, I said, for those of us who do small business in Kisumu, give us a single payer license. If I own, if I sell fish, please don't send somebody from, I don't know, Ministry of Land, somebody from where these licenses are too many. Once you pay, somebody comes and says, for example, somebody have a license in my office which cost me 46,000. Recently, somebody showed up in Nairobi. They say they are in Nairobi City Council. You paid half of what you should have paid. So this is just some crook walking on the streets comes to tell a business person, and it is just an office, that you paid less than you should have paid. How is that the business of a business person? You can tell it is cruel on businesses. When the government cannot even do simple things, even such as issuance of passport for people to move across our borders. Go to Nyayo House, look at the mess there, even at 8 o'clock. Then you tell me if that's a good picture of a government. What I thought Sammy would give you as an example is that the small businesses, small importers that they represent. For example, if you go to China, they are supposed to, the goods are now supposed to be cleared in China. Inspected.
Yes.
Then once they are inspected, at your cost, you pay inspection fee of about $1,000 per container. Then you pay for the shipment. You come here, somebody then wants to re-inspect that container.
But there's a directive by the president that once it's done there, that's it.
No, because the president was trying to shield the small business people. But these cartels are more powerful than the president. Because the president doesn't want, he is not leaving trail of what he has done. And he doesn't have to copy it somewhere. Just go here to Ghana. See how they are doing it. Why are Ghanaians happy? You know, when you tell me it's number 61, people are throwing figures at that, and Kenyans are complaining. You know, think about the small businesses which were working before. Somebody unilaterally ordered all the containers to go on SGR. What is happening in Mombasa? And we are not taking Kenyans seriously. And the issues here are really, really simple.
So, Honorable Jakoyo, my question is, given what Sam has said and how you've painted for us a clear image, giving Ghana as an example, that the 61% just looks good for foreign investors on papers, for foreign investors coming to Kenya. This is fantastic. But as a Kenyan, Samuel said, you go to a government office, being served is a hectic process, as opposed to if I was a foreigner. Why is it that the Kenyan government, or why is it our institutions, make it so difficult for Kenyans who are taxpayers? They call this home for them to do business. Why is the government, why institutions, why is the system set up like that?
The other day, the president said, gave an order, an executive order, that so much money in this budget should go to pay contractors who are owed.
Yeah.
You, as a media house, you need to do a survey. Tell us how many people are crying in the counties. The monies which were released by the president is only paying Chinese. So these are Kenyans who went to Kinajared and took loans to do a road here, do some work in the county, and they employ Kenyans. When they work in government offices, in fact, a good example is a gentleman who worked nearly 9 years ago in some county with Kura. He's owed only 30 million shillings. And he took the money to do only last night. You know, so when you are telling us that we have eased how we do business, you are just talking. In fact, it's kizungu mingi. Because another gentleman also told me last night, he wants to do scheduled transport between Kisumu and Nairobi. But in Nairobi, he has to go to Ministry of Transport, he has to go to Sonko's people, then he has to look for somebody called Sako, whom he went to, wants 1.6 million shillings from him.
So why is it so difficult? Why is the system designed in that way to frustrate a Kenyan who is simply doing a business, where as a foreigner, if they came in today, they are assisted so easily? Because
the big brother syndrome. Because these desks you are talking about, if you went to sell coffee in Washington, D.C., there's no desk. They would not set a special desk for us. You will be an investor like any other investor. So why are we treating these people like they are superior to our normal people? In fact, the attitude, look at the attitude. You know the demolitions in Kisumu, and I was affected. Why would the government demolish the only place they get taxes? You demolish, and the nurses are on strike, and you say we need 80 million, we are losing 80 million shillings. So something is wrong with this structure. The base is not right. I think we must do more, but I think what Sammy is saying is what the government must watch, because I think sooner or later there will be a reaction.
Jared, what do you think?
Yeah, I think
where did we miss the mark?
Can I speak to the ease of doing business parameter? I think we are basically looking at it from a very narrow sense of how quick can I register business. If you look at that parameter, it has like 15 areas they look at, where registering a business is just one of them. They look at things like how easy it is for you to get financing, for instance. How easy is it for you to resolve a dispute among us businesses? You know, it's a whole host of things that we need to look at. But what's more critical is, after all those things of ease of doing business and all that, I mean, of registering a business and all that, what happens? And you know, we have a history of, you know, companies not living longer than a certain period. Simply means that there are some constraints that perhaps need to be addressed locally, because the essence of that index is not to address domestic challenges, is to compare you on a certain parameter with other countries. Then from there you pick that up, and then you start now sorting some of the challenges that I'm hearing that are affecting business. For instance, I mean, one of the parameters is really how easy is it to comply to tax. Must you suffer to pay taxes? So and if that is going to give an incentive for people to remain underground, you know, there's what's called the informality trap, wanting to remain underground, because if you go above the ground, you start meeting some obligations. And I think those are the areas to address if that ranking has to make sense. But I think for you to move from where we were to where we are right now, I think some things have been done. From an administrative standpoint, it's basically a follow-up.
Okay, so Jared, I hear what you're saying, that maybe we looked at it in a narrow way in terms of how easy it is to register a business. I can simply pick out, let's say, even trading across border. In this day and age, we're still pushing for certain African countries to open their borders, to open their airways for other Africans. So, okay, fine,
the AfTA, for example.
Yes, put aside even registering a business. How easy it is to even trade across borders?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of trade that happens within the region, actually. The trade balance is usually what happens within your immediate neighborhood. And that, much of it actually is very informal trade. There's a lot of trade that happens within the borders that don't even go through the formal process. And it's legitimate trade. Now, what will happen if you were to go to the route of the Africa Free Trade Area simply means that now you're trying to formalize that in a bigger scale so that now you're able to catch a wider catchment area. But the core point here is that, you know, when you talk about the ability of people to do business, then you have to look at it in the sense of how will you, beyond saying on paper that no, you've enabled them to do business, how will you take that the next level of ensuring they actually do business? And that can be seen from, for instance, the investment flows. Now, I'm not sure whether there is what you call an incentive asymmetry, where, you know, a foreigner is given a separate set of incentives from a local. It's just that, you know, maybe the kind of areas and the kind of investment that the foreigners require, I mean, the foreigners come with. I mean, if somebody's coming with $1 million, and he gets an incentive package, I don't think that if you have $1 million equivalent and you want to invest in a certain area, you necessarily get a different set of incentives. So the asymmetry only arises if you're talking about a Juakali from a certain place and Juakali from a different country, and I'm not sure.
Mashiba, before I come to you very quickly, so Jared, as a policy expert then, what's your advice in terms of to the government in how we can make sure that the common Kenyan is feeling this 61, this improvement? Because because at the end of the day, Jared, look at our unemployment rates amongst young people alone. If genuinely doing business in Kenya was easy, our unemployment rates will not be where they are.
And can I just say something so that you answer as one? For me as a retailer, for example, or a small trader, what I want that makes doing business easy for me is that I have decided I want to start a shop. I walk into a county office and they give me a list of licenses I should pay. I go, I pay all that, and for me it means no one will ever walk into my office and say, you have not paid this, you have not paid that. If we had that simple clarity, that to me reflects ease of doing business for a Kenyan. So that we don't have, for lack of a better word, Kanjo walking in and saying fire, health. I mean, I walk in, you give me a list, I go pay, I do business.
Harmonization.
I think
harmonization.
The easy answer is linked to what she has just said. I think simplifying the processes and making sure that once you've gone through the process as an investor, small or big, there's no duplication of regulation, you know, where, you know, you go through several layers of compliance for you to do business, because when you have multiple levels of compliance, then there's an opportunity for people to basically rent seek or come for something under the table.
All right, Joko, you wanted to jump into this before
I wanted
we
to say something.
Focus,
you know, why laws are there, and this country is full and complete with laws. Laws are usually supposed to protect citizens against citizens. The enforcer of the law is the government, you know, not kangaroo courts. Now, what you find interesting, I find nowadays in Nairobi, to do business, you close your business early on Friday morning. Because Sonko Askaris, everybody's complaining. They come at 4 o'clock on Friday. They take you to City Court, which throws you towards a jail in Langata, not a cell, where people can even come look for you. For what? It's because they need money for weekend. It has degenerated to that level. And I hope Sonko has somebody listening, somebody whom he can listen to. Get the Askaris off traders. You know, recently, Jaguar was arrested when he went to Gikomba. And he was doing something that it is the president who should have been doing. Unfortunately, he was arrested. The protocol says, East African protocol, the trade protocol, that we give certain concessions to Tanzanian goods. All the waru, or the nyanyas, or the kitungus we are eating in Kenya and Uganda are from Tanzania, Arusha area to be specific. And you should go to Arusha market and see the hundreds of lorries that bring them. What Jaguar's problem is the Tanzanian coming with the lorry and selling them there, or the Chinese coming with bales of clothes and selling them there. Because what is Wanjiku going to do?
Right.
You understand? This is why our problem as a people is so basic. We are saying you signed on our behalf. You have killed local cultivation, the cabbage which used to be grown around Limuru. It is dead. We have accepted. You, the government, you went there and negotiated a protocol, which is bad for our people. If you go on the streets, and I want to challenge all of you, when you live here, go to this roundabout around Nairobi Hospital. You see those people on carts. They are all disabled, being skumward by able-bodied people. Did you know it is a trade? Those people are being imported from neighboring countries, and we are giving people work permit to do that thing, to beg Kenyans going to work. That's why the other day, city askaris were chasing them away. But they are protected by law. We have degenerated to the extent that people are bringing disabled people to beg us, as though we don't have our own poor. We don't have our own poor. So I wanted to say just one thing. About 3-4 years ago, the Minister for Agriculture, it was called Willie Bett, came out of nowhere and said Ugandans can bring eggs to Kenya. So if you go from here to Eldoret to Kisumu, nobody can produce eggs, because the Ugandan eggs come across the porous border, and they're too cheap. In fact, when somebody tries to produce, they reduce the price to 3 shillings an egg.
So you can't compete.
So you cannot compete. Where is our government? Because it is not right that we are, when you are, like Jared is saying, when they come to invest $1 million, like the Chinese came with this rail thing, what is so difficult with the government saying, okay, invest, but employ Kenyan engineers? How is that?
In terms of negotiation, true.
That's a good question.
All right, we need to take a quick commercial break, but before we do that and pave way for the next discussion, which is the SGR Cargo Directive,
we talked about the issue
which we already touched on. We want to take a look at your feedback. Let's do that.
On SMS, that's 22422. You don't leave a name or where you're texting from. You say, why should I pay taxes as Mama Mboga to the government when it does not take care of me now when I'm jobless?
Remember, you can tell us your name and where you're watching from. Isaac, good morning. You say it is impossible. This year alone, I have given the same documents 6 times, inspected 3 times. I have all the documents, yet no approvals have been given to date.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A comment from Eldoret say, even as government celebrates the improved ranking on ease of doing business, one is left with more questions when we watch running battles between county enforcement officers and hawkers. Simple policies of organizing these hawkers through a win-win mechanism should not be a mirage. With a bulging youth unemployment, how do we even expect them to be innovative and contribute to the GDP? The ease should be tangible. All right.
Keep them coming. 22422 is our SMS line at Citizen TV Kenya, Zinzi_Kenya, Trevor Mbija. Use the hashtag Daybreak. Let's take that commercial break so we can come into our next conversation. See you in a bit.
Which is the SGR Cargo Directive. So allegedly it was supposed to have been lifted, but there are protests in Mombasa, meaning maybe it has not been lifted like the government says. Back in a bit.